Here we go. Welcome to Soul Talk with Sandee M. Welcome, welcome. Soul Talk is a show about practical ways to apply your spiritual gifts, your talents, your tools, and use them in your everyday life. I'd like to welcome my guest, Olivia Brewer, to the show. I am so glad to be streaming this on IG. And hi, Olivia. How
Hi,
are
how,
you?
how are you? I am well. Thank you for asking.
Yes. So let's start with, I know on Soul Conversations we did the whole thing about the how your your awakening happened. But
Yeah.
as you're tapping into your gifts and your skills, and you're learning that possibly they were given to you for a purpose, how are you finding using them in everyday life?
All right. Well, before I had my awakening experience, I think I held them. Yeah, I wouldn't, I think I used them a little bit, but I wouldn't walk in them because that's not the track I was on. I was on the track to be a behavior analyst, a BCBA.
Mhm.
And when that fell through, that was like what I was banking on. I was like, I spent all this money, I studied, and I failed. And I didn't just fail the test once, I failed it multiple times. And so it wasn't until the breaking downs of the false sense of security, the false sense of this is what I'm here to do, that things started to kind of come together for me. And so once I got over the hurt of not doing what I thought I was supposed to do, which would be a board certified behavior analyst, that's when I started to hone in, like, who am I? The real me, not just approved by this board, not just that, but who am I called and created to be? And maybe what I've learned in my classes will help me to get there. So I released that I was supposed to be a board certified behavior analyst, and I started to just kind of walk in what naturally flowed for me. Well, naturally, I'm a bossy kind of chick, so I don't like people telling me what to do, but I also am very creative.
Yeah.
And I wasn't walking in that. I dibbled and dabbled on YouTube for a bit, but that was sharpening and honing my skills. I didn't even realize it. And so now I created a new business entitled Curiosity the Antidote. And that stems from the curiosity within me. And so that curious also stems from the creativity, the immense creativity that I have. And instead of putting it on the back burner, we put it as the whole meal. The front burner, we cooking as we go along. And so me now utilizing creativity and curiosity as my, and God, higher source, whatever, everybody calls God something different, but um, with those ingredients, I am now becoming more of the person that I am every day, and realizing that art, creativity, and my intuition are going to, and God, my intuition is going to be my guide in where I'm going. And what I've learned in school with all these master's degrees is just going to propel me even further, because now I have book knowledge,
Mhm.
experience, and creativity. I
Right.
mean, how can you lose with those three?
Right. So, so for me, it was I I could take it a step back to everything that I did in maybe the last 40 years of working in industries, and actually finding out that, oh, this was a part of my gift. I just didn't know it was a gift then. Having the ability to be a I'm, I'm trying to find the right word. I worked in accounts receivable and collections, and I always had a gift for being able to communicate well with people.
Okay.
And So I found my niche was in collections and helping people through the collection process, like when they owed for for an invoice or whatnot. I didn't treat it as if it was just get the money, one and done. It was, I actually had I would listen and be an objective listener, find out, okay, why they can't pay something, and then help them through the process. Oh, do we need to put you on a payment plan? And in order you have to be on a payment plan in order to get more product, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally found out, or as I started opening up those gifts on the spiritual side and seeing them more, how they worked on the material side, then I could go, oh, wow, those gifts were already open to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know that that's where some of my purpose was. Did
Yeah.
you, are you having moments like that where
Yeah.
you go back?
Yeah, I every day. Those gifts that I use within school settings are the exact same gifts that I'm using now.
Hmm.
I'm using. I've always been creative, so active listening. I have a gift of processing, and
Hmm.
so I can just watch, and I can be like, "Huh, something's wrong there." Even though I don't might not know the process, I know when something is not flowing. I know when something is off. I just know, and I that's just a knowing that I have, and so I use that every day. But I didn't realize that I was using it so much when I was in these work settings, and actually they were exploiting our gifts in the work setting because they could see that we were gifted in certain ways.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Without, they knew for that's their whole they, meaning whoever they is for you, the not just the guest, but you, the viewer. um it's how you perceive anything we say here. Can be, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's my favorite thing to say, is just because it works for Olivia or it's worked for us, you have to take it on and try it on for size. You have to go in that dressing room and try it to see if it fits you. If it doesn't fit you, there's no one size that fits all. So for me, actually, at first I went to people who could see my potential. They were using my potential for their highest and greatest good, and not
Mhm.
giving it back to me for mine. Not saying, well, you have this great skill, you can do a lot with it. You're so creative, that whole kind of thing. So it kind of made me, when I did not know that they were spiritual gifts, when I did not know that it was a part of who I was, a greater who I was, of
Mhm.
greaterness or greatness, just put it that way. Um, I took it with a grain of salt. I just always took it kind of negatively, like, yeah, I'm doing you a favor and I'm just getting a paycheck. And then I would go, okay, that's okay. I live paycheck to paycheck.
Fair exchange, right?
Yeah, right.
So you
And
felt.
yeah, so yeah, but now that I'm finding out different, having a spiritual awakening, which is just for me knowing that I have a higher being that's in it for the long haul, just as my body and my mind is. And now I get to look at my gifts, skills, and talents differently, and actually sit with myself and my higher self and say, who do I want to be using these gifts? Or who do I want to be using these talents or skills? And then who do I want to share them with? For you, here comes the question. For you being ADHD, did you find that difficult in your work world, or your not work world, how about we say in your professional world?
Honestly, I never acknowledged that I had ADHD until about 3 years ago. So in the work world, in my mind, I never even gave ADHD a consideration, even though I was diagnosed at 14 or 15. It was just a thing. until I got to left Philadelphia and got to Arizona, and my mind was all over the place and I could not understand. And then the remembrance came, girl, you got ADHD. And then I said, well, I'm going to walk into this now, because up to that time, I just dismissed it. And I didn't even, it wasn't even a thought. I mean, I would think about it every now and then, but it was like, whatever, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
And now I'm not afraid to say it. People are like, well, if you didn't tell me you had ADHD, I would have known. Because what does it look like though? Like, come on. And so now I'm still learning what that looks like for me. I'm still learning that, oh, I overdo stuff, and oh, I give it my all because that's how I am. And even though I'm overworked and I still press on. That's where the ADHD got me in trouble in the workplace, because I gave these people 100%. And what did I get? Burnout, disrespected, looked over. But because of the person that I am and the way my brain operates, I see something through because I'm trying to give it 100%.
Yeah.
And that didn't serve me in the world of work, because I was always tired because I was just always doing the most, as they like to say. So.
Yeah. So now knowing with that, you do have this awakening moment to your higher being, that you do have something, you do have some
Gift?
not just gifts, but you have a higher being that's on this journey with you, right?
Yeah.
And in the consciousness of seeing it differently, how is there a way that you could explain the changes that led up to the Olivia now? Because I remember, a couple of years ago when you had your major, like, dark night, and we were there, and that dark night opened up a lot of the information that you needed to go in and help reframe some information, some downloads that came from just living life, and you had to reframe them through a different consciousness. When you started looking at it through that different filter, that you don't need to burn out yourself, and you do. How did that? Did you? Here's the question: did you first figure, hey, I have to go within me before I can fix anything else in my work or my personal life with others through my gifts?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be really honest. It was messy. And so the neat packaging in which you're speaking of it, maybe it happened like that. But for me, um, it was a breaking down of just everything broke down.
Mhm.
Everything, I was having a series of anxiety and panic attacks back to back to back to back to back. And that was scary. And so when I think back on how I got back to this new place, I got not back to, maybe back to, but to this new place, um, it was like I was led. I'm trying to say it a different way, but it's like I didn't have a sense of where I was going after all that breakdown. And I had to, first of all, I had to address what I hadn't addressed from my childhood. I had
Yeah.
to sit and rock on the couch crying days and days. So how I got there, I don't have, like, the map is messy. The map got all kind of dirt and footprints on it. So I can't even really see how I got here. But I will say I had to look at myself. I had to look at myself and say, what am I not addressing? Where am I suppressing? What is being suppressed? And as soon as I started asking myself what was being suppressed, the thoughts came to me.
Right.
The disgusting thoughts, the things that I seen, the things that were done to me, like literally, like almost like a volcano, if you can kind of like see that, just erupted and it just spilled over.
Right.
And I met you and I met a few other people on this journey that kind of helped me to see clearer because at that point I didn't know what was ahead of me, and it was scary for me being in Arizona, not having any support, my family being in Pennsylvania. It was scary, and so I'm getting a little emotional, sorry, but
It's
um,
okay. Emotions are what are going to take us to the next step. So
yeah.
yeah.
So it it was very, if I could put any kind of if I could give you any kind of advice or map, I would say, um, ask yourself what's wrong. I'm telling you, I know that seems so simple, but when you don't ask yourself these hard questions, you sit and you live everyday life just putting things on top of it, and it's one small thing can just explode and just uncover the whole thing, and then you don't know where you are. You're just at a lost place. So I would say start addressing those feelings that are in you, those things that when a certain person talks to you, you feel that thing in your body. Don't stuff it down no more.
Ah, yeah.
Stop. Don't stuff that down, because when you stuff that down, you give yourself gastro issues, you give yourself headaches, you give yourself pains in your back, pains in different areas. A lot of y'all got pains. I don't know where this is coming from. A lot of y'all got pains in your body from stuffing it in your neck, in your eye, in your throat,
Right.
from stuffing it down. And so I would say, ask yourself, what's wrong? Ask yourself, why do I feel like this when those moments come up? Even if you just in your room, go to the bathroom, turn the shower on. I don't know where
Mhm.
that came from, but you have to start to look within. You have to, and looking within means feeling your body. Your body is always telling you what's wrong. Your arm hurt is telling you something, is telling you something,
Right.
so you just have to be aware of the ailments, because those ailments are your signal to give something care.
Okay. So so once you go, like for me, um, I am working on launching a workshop to have people address themselves when they're starting businesses. Everybody's gung ho to start a business, right?
Yes, they are.
And they start a business, and the one thing they want to do is they know that they want to make money. But the workshop that I am going to be doing is that you have to know your inner self. You really have to know who you are, and not just who you are, embodying who you are and what you want to bring to, for a lack of a better word, to market that represents you.
Mhm.
The representation of you comes from within you outward, right?
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
people know that all they want to do is make money, 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 right? And then when they're told to make money, they're told to grind, which means work, and which would probably mean work until you drop, then get up and do it again. So for me, I know that you and I were talking, and you had said that you want to bring uh, to the to help people, not just people with autism, not just what they consider regular people with autism, people who are on the spectrum, people with ADHD and ADD, know that they can go out and perform, in the workplace, and also work for themselves and get contracts, like if they're working on in the for governmental contracts and other different things, that they have to sit with themselves and get to know themselves, and also be kind of comfortable in knowing who they are, to get these things to also work in any industry that they want to work in.
Mhm.
How are you going about that? All these skills, girl, you've got so many skills and talents. Okay.
Thank you.
So how are you bringing that? No, how are you bringing it to fruition using your skills, talents? Can you give us a, a yellow brick road of that?
I do my best. Well, one, like you said, you have to know who you are before you can start any business. You know, people out here starting with getting hair, getting t-shirts, and all that. But who are you? Like, who are you? What's your mantra in life? My mantra is curiosity, making curiosity the antidote. And once I that's part of my ADHD, just being curious. What is this? And so the roadmap, I would say, you need a mentor. I will say you need a mentor. You can have all the ingredients. You can have the LLC. You can have the master's degree. You can have the website. You can have the wholesaler. You can have the whatever you have. But if you don't know how to put it together and mix that thing together and make it work for you, you spinning your wheels. That's one thing that I will say. I will say that how I got into federal contracting was an accident, but federal government contracting, you have to know you. Like, there's a whole lot of contracts out here. There's contracts to find chairs for the government. There's contracts to find whatever. Like, I just did a referral. A request for a quote for a diabetes teaching, putting together a diabetes program for women veterans,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
There are so many things, but you have to know what you're good at. I like to teach, I like to put things together. And so that's going to help me build, and so I'm going to build a community. That's a challenge. I've never done this before, but it's a challenge. But I have created communities on Instagram. You see, I have about maybe, I don't know, 4,000 followers or whatever. I have 6,000 followers on TikTok. I have some followers on YouTube. And so clearly I've learned how to build community. And so
Yes.
taking the skills that I use in everyday life, my degrees and my artistic ability, and knowing how to now leverage, that's a key thing in business. Leveraging what you know how to do, leveraging like, if you can't do it, don't try to do it. Pay somebody who know how to do it and you do what you do. Leveraging. And so I would say, know who you are, seek a mentor. Even if it's somebody that you not paid, somebody that you admire online. Look at them, go to their website, see if it resonates with your soul, and reach out if you feel so inclined. But if you don't, watch what they do, because these are steps that they took to get to where they are. And so find a mentor, and also know what you like. Are you going into federal government contracting? Are you going to be a wholesaler? What do you want to do? Do you want to be a content creator? And it's more than just getting in front of the camera and just talking. So
Yeah.
you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in the gurus. You have to invest in a course. You have to invest in people like me who have walked the walk, and people like Sandra who walked the walk and have made the mistakes and can say to you, "I don't go that way because it's going to take you a little longer. If you go this way, you'll get straight there." And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially these new age entrepreneurs, they see people join this and join that, and they giving you a piece of the knowledge, but not enough for you to get where they at, because that ain't really the goal, unless you got somebody with a pure heart in this market and in this business that knows that there's enough money for all of us out here in these streets. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And you said something really good. It's like, when you're looking at your gurus, or you're looking at your you want to have that collaboration. or that you have to know, truly have to know deeply inside who you are. Because if you're looking for the person to help, hoping to find the person that you can be aligned with, if you don't know what your alignment is, and it could be, you could say a spiritual alignment, or you could say a form alignment or an earthly alignment. If you don't even know what those alignments are within you, if you only know bottom goal is I need to make money, bottom goal is I need to pay my rent, bottom goal is I need to make sure that food is on the table. Yes, those are our goals. But who are you? Number one, who do you want to be as you're getting those? And number two, who do you want to be as you're taking the road to get to that? And who do you want to be at the end result of everything that you've been through to get to to where you are,
Yeah,
right?
because those steps that you take are going to lead up to the person that you have created. You know, that building down, that breaking down of that first Olivia, and now all the steps that I'm taking now are rebuilding me. So it's a brand new, whole new person with a whole new set of skills enhanced from what I already had. And every step that you take daily is your building and foundation for where you're going.
Right. So with okay, so with the gifts that were open before your, what we're going to say, you're a spirit, one of many spiritual awakenings, right? Um, that helped you start building the road to wanting to be a teacher, wanting to uh, 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 teach people on many different platforms. It's not just, government contracts. It's, wanting to teach parents how to who they are, finding out who they are, and how they can be better parents to children that have been diagnosed, their child has been diagnosed with Asperger's, or they're diagnosed with ADHD, or somewhere on the spectrum, and who they are as, first, number one, who they are as an individual, who they are as a individual that is a parent, who they are as an individual that is a parent of an XYZ child, right? So these are all your your growth. I would, other people might say goal. I would say intention in growth. This is how you're growing in that.
I want to say something. You said something that brought something back to my memory. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's
Well, I never actually intended to be a teacher. That's
oh,
the
really?
crazy part about it. Yeah, and that was never my goal. You know who called that out in me? And I wasn't even on that page. I was still in behavior. I was a behavior specialist, and I used to go to schools. And one day I remember this little girl named Gracie. When I lived in West Philly, that was like, I don't know, I was like 30 something. She said to me, I got out my car and she said to me, "Are you a teacher?" I said, "No, but blah, blah, blah." And then another time I seen another kid, "Are you a teacher?" And then another kid, I was at a school, "Are you a teacher?" I said, "Yes, I am." Because the kids, the children called it out in me. I never, and that's how I think it even got in my mind, because these kids kept asking me if I was a teacher, and I wasn't nobody's teacher. I was a teacher, but I never looked at myself as a teacher. So now, understanding that they were calling out what they seen, I wasn't necessarily dressed like a teacher. I had on a jeans and t-shirt, but they seen something within me deeper than I even seen. I was just minding my own business, and they called me out. And so I wanted to just give credit to the kids for recognizing what was in me, because I'm called to the children, and not just the little children, the big children like me too. So
Yeah. And there, children see beyond. And I love that. Now, okay, so you were a behavioral specialist.
Mhm.
What, how does that differ? Because if somebody was to say, "Oh, I'm a behavioral specialist, I would think that would be a subdivision of a teacher.
Kind of, sort of, yes. But teachers are more in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
I did substitute teaching for 10 days, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Them kids ran me up out of there. So I'm not a teacher in that respect. Those teachers, take my hats off to any teachers that's on this live, because baby, y'all putting in that work. Teachers are the front line. Me, I'm behind the teacher, kind of observing, giving feedback, and trying to support in that way. I'm supporting the teacher. I'm still teaching. I'm teaching the teacher. Take my hats off. Ooh, I heard that. I'm teaching the teacher. So that's where I come in. So I guess it is a subdivision, but a lot of times the teachers don't want that feedback, because I guess they like, no, I got this, but I see from a different angle. That's all. A
Okay.
different lens of the classroom. They have a singular focus. I have a broader focus of, this is what happened, why Bobby did that. But you ain't see that because you trying to teach.
Yeah,
You
right,
telling little Shirley to sit down. Meanwhile, the little boy pinching on her leg, but you don't see that. You
right.
see? So that's the vantage point that I come from as a behavior specialist.
Okay. And here's the question. Behavioral to get to that behavioral specialist, okay? Because now that you've explained it, what gift do you think was already open that now you see it more as, oh, I was born with this. This is my spiritual gift. I was born with this. This had a purpose, or I see the purpose now.
Yeah, I was operating in my gift then. But I have a name for the gift, not just ADHD. The name of the gift is processes. I'm gifted to see processes. I'm gifted to, like, almost like putting something together, but in a non-tangible way. Like, you know how somebody gifted to put a car together? I'm gifted to put together pieces that you can't see. So
Right.
it's the process of it all. What they call it in the church, an administrative gift. I go in there and I listen and look. I'm like, that ain't right. That ain't right. I could just say what needs to be fixed. And I used to look at it like a gift and a curse, like, because why was I always seeing the flaw in systems in my
Right.
mind? I would always see the flaw and I would be judgmental. But it wasn't me being judgmental. It was my gift operating, but I didn't understand it at the time. And I didn't understand it, I must be honest, until a year ago, completely. Like, this is a gift of processes. This is a gift of administration. This is a gift of, you can see where the straggling ends are in different in any kind of process, even in people relationships. I be seeing stuff and I be like, something ain't right. Like, I be seeing it's the invisible, like the invisible energy, the invisible forces that other people can't see, that I just know. It's like one time, and this just came to me. Mary J. Blige was sitting on the couch with her new husband, Ken Do, long time ago. You know that, a long time ago. She was on Oprah's show. And they were sitting there, and she made some kind of movement. And I said, some kind of abuse in that relationship. All she did was make a movement. And I seen
Right.
it. And years later, it came out. That was way later. But do you see how I see the invisible? Like, she just moved a certain way. And
Ah,
I seen it.
okay.
I can't really explain that, but that's just, I just know.
Yeah. Are you more comfortable with it now that you know it's more intuitive, that now that you're understanding that you have this intuitive gift, and it has sometimes?
Sometimes, and sometimes not, because I mean, I'm not gonna say like sometimes I don't be wanting to see what I see. I don't be wanting to, you know what I'm saying? I be minding my business, just living life, and here I go seeing, you know,
Uh,
and I know, but I'm comfortable with it because I have to be. I don't got no choice. But sometimes I just say, girl, mind your business unless somebody asks you. Because I'm
wow.
prone to open my mouth too much. Nobody asks me what I see. I'm gifted to see it. But unless somebody gives me permission to express the truth of the matter of how I see it, and sometimes it be the truth of the truth that people don't want to know and hear, just be quiet. And that's how you get comfortable with your gift, unless you have to say something, unless somebody's being hurt or whatever. But other than that, nobody asked you. So just
Okay.
let it go. And
Do
I
you,
don't always want to sometimes, but I've gotten in trouble time after time after time after time. Even though I might have been right, nobody asked me.
nobody asked. Okay. So in order to maybe let's put it this way, in order to maybe inspire and motivate with those intuitive gifts, right, do you see yourselves maybe doing uh, like workshops so that the information can be general and used for all? That way they take what resonates, as I say, and leave what doesn't, through that type of inspirational teaching or instruction.
Yeah.
You
I
see
mean,
your
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, do you see yourself going that way?
I see myself, I think that there will be general, but I think there will also be targeted because my target audience is people like me, gifted, exceptional, that are beat down from these jobs, beat down from life, beat down in their own minds, beat down from the words that were spoken to them at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and they still resonate with it at 40. And they still are operating under that little kid inside of them that got wounded. I think my message can be general, but
Mhm.
I think those that will hear me the loudest are the people like me who have unique experiences, unique seeings, unique giftings, and don't know how to really, for lack of a better word, package that thing
Right.
and monetize it. Because people monetizing stuff that they don't even have, like the gifts they don't like. But you can live a life. And when I say monetize, I don't mean exploiting. I mean, you can use this gift in federal governments. You can use this gift on YouTube. You can use this gift on TikTok, wherever. I'm talking about people that are afraid. That's the word I'm looking for. I think the people that are fearful will resonate with me the most because that's where I operated for a lot of years.
And
It took me a lot to even be able to get to this point where I could get on camera, and I can't see who's watching this broadcast because I got my camera and not my phone. But I would have never done this because I would have felt judged, and because I had the gift that I have. I was thinking about this the other day. The reason why I was fearful of other people is because I can see processes, and I think that people can see. It was like when I was little, I felt like a glass house, and people could look at me and see the flaws in me.
mhm.
And so I don't know how I got to this point, Sandra, but I thought I was like a house, like they could see, I could see their flaws and they could see mine. And so it was scary for me to even come out because I really thought that people could see me
And was judging
like,
you? Yeah.
yes, but like I could see them though. Like it's hard to not understand that this a gift. And and they can't see what you see, but I thought everybody could see my imperfections, my low self-esteem, like everything that was in me. I thought they was looking at me and looking through me, like I can kind of almost look through them. And that's why it was so hard not understanding that this is my gift, and the people with gifts like me struggle with that.
Ah, okay. And I do get that. That's why this is all about, whether the gifts are, I call them, I go because I go where my soul goes. I go where my higher being goes. So I might call them spiritual gifts or skills or talents, but that's only because you get for me, you get to that point where your awareness and you're open. But there are many people that just from being the song Young, Gifted, and Black came into my head right then. Okay. And it's not really that I'm trying to separate anybody by color or gender or religion or anything like that. So anybody that just heard Young, Gifted, and Black, that's not where I was going. That just popped in there. Um, it's the gifts we already have, and we're utilizing them, not knowing that these are gifts from a higher being or a higher calling. It doesn't matter what you call, whether you call it Jehovah or Yahweh or Buddha, or it doesn't matter those labels. You're born with these gifts that you're using on a daily. You're doing them randomly because there's information that's downloaded into us on an everyday basis by whether it's mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, and that, or it's by teachers or professors or work colleagues or bosses or political affiliations or whatnot. We're getting downloaded this information, and it's filling up our gifts, skills, and talents with certain narratives that might not be for our highest and greatest good. Now, what Olivia is saying is she's dealt with these gifts and these talents and these skills her whole life. She at a point in time she wasn't aware that these gifts and talents were given to her with purpose. So she struggled with them by struggled with them in fear.
Mhm.
And she wants to her get truly, guys, her gifts and her skills and her talents, they have awoken. They aren't awakening. They are, what's that word? I know people don't like that word,
Well,
but they're woke, but they are. And they're growing and they're expanding. And what she has said is the best information or offering of information that she could give you is to know yourself. And sometimes that's very hard to do. It's a very scary thing to do because for me, it's kind of like going into the abyss of you, right? The scariest part that your subconscious mind, or if some call it subconscious mind or ego, doesn't want you to go, because that subconscious mind and or ego doesn't understand it. It understands a straight line of all the information that has been fed to you on top, and then it moves in a straight line. And what Olivia is saying, everything didn't move in a straight line for her. Fear did not move in a straight line for her. Once she started, I guess, I know for me, it's kind of a pulling apart of self, and then pulling, kind of like, no, pulling, stripping of layers, and then going, do I need this layer? Is this layer going to work for me?
you know what I seen? Like somebody stripping a wood floor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To
Yeah.
get to the bare essential of what that floor is. And then after you get to the bareness of it, you stripped off all the coat. You sit there and say to yourself, okay, who do I want to be now with the things that I am doing? You may not call them gifts, but Olivia and I have called those our gifts because we do them, very well, easily and effortlessly. It is some work, but the work in it is the stripping was the hardest work was all that layers on top of it that had to be forced together with all that glue that didn't work for our highest and greatest good. So what I was asking her is all her gifts and all her talents and skills that she had before stripping herself down. How does she feel about those gifts or talents or processes that were called gifts, talents, and how does she feel about them now? This is going to be the next question on her journey. It's not and her journey includes other people. So how does she feel right now as she's still stripping? See, for me, I will always be stripping, I think. But most people, do you feel like you've gotten to that point where you stripped, you're finished with that area of that
No.
part of your life?
No, I'm every day I discover a new part of myself. Like I was watching something. I was watching. I don't know if some of y'all gonna know Hines and Garcelle. They broke up. But anyway, I remember seeing something when I seen a video. I don't know what I seen, but I was like, something's off. Anyway, went about my business. Um, as I said, hear me in my storytelling. But I feel that every day I am learning more about myself, who I resonate with, the clothes I resonate with. Like this been in my closet, I don't know how long, and I decided today was the day to put it on. It had a tag on it. Who am I? What do she like that? She liked that sweater 2 weeks ago. Do she like it today? It ain't speaking to her soul. She got to go. We're gonna take it to the consignment shop, go get a few pennies for it, and keep it moving. So every day is a new, a new version, not a new version, more of a uncovering.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to be this girl? Do I like this? Does this apartment say this? What does my hair say? What every day, so I would say I'm still there. In my book, in my opinion, there's still a lot to be stripped down. I'm not going to be like, I'm here for it, but it's going to happen regardless. But sometimes it's hard. I'm not going to act like
I'm here for it.
Right. I'm not going to be like, yes, bring it on. It's coming. So, baby, I'm going to just walk in it and feel it when it gets here because it ain't easy, y'all. It's not easy, but if you're faithful to yourself, forget your spouse. If you faithful to yourself and who you are called to be, it's worth it because we always want to be something or what somebody else wants us to be, what they think we should do, how our hair should look, how we should talk, where we should work. And we never think other people build our lives for us, these jobs. Your mom and dad, some of y'all, I don't know who this is for. Your mom and dad got to stop. You got to take reign. All right, I'm going to get back. Emma. But somebody's parent they grown and you still listening to, well, my mom, girl, guy, who are you? So
Right.
we have to loosen those ties to people that have grew us up, those religions that grew us up, those, I wasn't raised like this. You're raising yourself now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I wasn't at 40, I wasn't raised like this. What are you talking about? You raised the way you want to be raised. Anyway, I don't know who that's for. But anyway, I'm here to say it's not easy. My walk is not easy. And some days I be like, dang, how did I get on this journey? Like every day,
Right.
continual unfolding, continue. Some days it hurts. Some days it hurts. And some days I be like, I don't want to be here. But not be here like that.
No, be here in the moment of what do I do next in writing this essay or writing this yeah.
So I'm here to say, like, you gonna have moments, but just because you have those moments don't mean it's the end. That's a new beginning.
That's I'm glad you said that. It's kind of like once you go, oh, kind of do the Charlie Brown shrug and go, after you do the shrug, you do this and you come back up. That's your now moment. It is for me. I can't tell you how many Charlie Brown shrugs I did where Lucy, just before I could kick the football, Lucy took it out from under me and I went, ugh. And then when I came up, it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. That I gave myself permission to go back to the drawing board. Like literally being on 4 different platforms just kind of made me go, oh, what was I thinking? Because my thought pattern was I want to be a inspirational and motivational speaker, worldwide speaker. I want to be a podcaster. I want to serve, right? And then in doing it, I kind of go, oh, what was I thinking? I didn't think that through. Oh, right. But then there's that moment when you get things right and you kind of say to yourself, this is my purpose.
I just thought about something when you said that about you. That's all the same gifting, though. Like all the things that you just said, right? That's under the same umbrella. That's what I got. It's under the same umbrella. You're just casting your net a little bit wider. And now all you got to do is the net is cast wide, bring it together, right? What you're doing, and one of the tools of what you're using, what we're streaming on now, all you doing is pulling your audience together. Because you got 4, but you really got 1. They just in different places, right?
As 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 you threw the net out, kind of I just saw that it's like, here's the drawstrings and pull the drawstring in like a fisherman does, and bring it on board, right?
Fisherman is of service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I had something that came to my mind as you was talking as concerning me. Like we spoke earlier, and I spoke about how you never know where you're going to be getting paid. Like I have ideas of where I'm going to get paid, but somebody paid me money to update their YouTube channel, which confirmed for me that's where you're going. Which I always wanted to go and do artsy videos and stuff, but I got a chance to put somebody's YouTube channel together, do their intros and stuff. And the crazy part about it is my higher self, God, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, I said, I'm going to do this and put this in my group with my ladies and I said, somebody's going to want this. Somebody going to need this service. And I was right. And now I'm like, once you get paid for something, I ain't gonna say you the expert. You the expert. Let's go. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Somebody see it in you. I developed that gift though. That was years of honing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and this is why I brought Garcelle up earlier, because she has a vibrant spirit and she makes these videos. And I wanted to join her Patreon a few years back, but I didn't. And when I saw about her and Hines breaking up or whatever, I went to her page. We finally connected on our journeys. And so I decided to be a Patreon and learning in her Patreon how to do so many more editing things. And so I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was struggling with these videos and doing all this a few years ago. And now I'm at a place where somebody's paying me for it. And I take that money and I invest in another light being because she's so bright. And I learn and I enhance my skills. Hence, I'm paying her, but she don't know that she's paying me, right? By her art, by me seeing it, by the way that art makes me feel. That
that's
thing
that,
touches me in
that's
my
cause.
soul.
Yes, that's the law of cause and effect. What you're putting out for someone else, you're getting back from someone else. What that person is putting out for you, she's getting back from someone else. I mean, isn't it crazy how the law of cause and effect work? Right?
Yeah. It's like a
It's so crazy.
circle.
Hmm.
Like
It's
a 360, just keep going around, and more
yeah,
people get drawn into the circle, and then the circle keeps going and expanding. Like,
yeah. It really is. Like, I cannot tell you how, since the inception, I think is the right word, of when I started my first Instagram. When I first started Instagram, it was a little bit before COVID, and a year or two before COVID, I do believe. And it was two things happened. I was I was taking a yoga class at the community that I was living in. They had, it was called yoga by the pool, Sunday yoga by the pool, and it was a young lady that would come, and we would do yoga, and we would talk and everything, and we would talk, and I would talk about the law of attraction, and and she said to me, she says, one day, man, Sandra, you have so much. I hope she recorded it on her phone.
mm-hmm.
Said, look, listen to you, look at you. You just so, you're so vibrant. You're just loving it. She says, you should put this on Instagram. And
Okay.
she showed it to me, right? She showed me what her Instagram looked like, because she does her yoga is one of her many things that she does as far as businesses, guys. Businesses. Did you hear me? Not just yoga. She does uh she DJs, and she does her own music for to DJ at for people who do not drink, but they want to dance. So they want to go to a club, and so she's got all these different businesses. And so she's sitting there, and it's just a chat, guys. And she says, you should start your own Instagram page, whatnot. And I'm going to tell you, I talked to her and I said, wow, I'm going to think about it. But in the back of my mind, guys, here's what the ego does. Here's what
What?
the unconscious does. As I'm walking, I'm, looking at the phone. I've got my yoga mat, and, it's just a brief walk, literally a brief walk from the pool to my apartment. My ego has already talked me out of it, right? I opened the door, guys, and my granddaughter, hi Nana, how you doing? And I'm putting stuff down, and she grabs my phone, because she says, I don't know, I think we were talking about an update or something that I was having a problem with on my phone, and she grabbed my phone, let me fix that. And as she's finishing fixing it, I'm telling her what this young lady, this yoga instructor said. She said, I laughed at it. I said, she told you, Nana, that I need to go on Instagram with all my little meditate, my information about law of attraction. She said, yeah, you do. And while we're talking about it, guys, she's setting it up on my phone.
I love it.
Right? I mean, this is being in alignment with not one person, but many people. This is how these people could see the things in me that I knew existed, but I didn't know existed. But they were helping me embody it, right? And then after she sets it up, she asked me all these questions. She said, I set it up this way, if you ever want to make it a business, blah blah blah. This is my granddaughter. And then she says, if you need help doing your first video, call me.
I
And
love it.
literally, she told me where you do the video. She showed me where the camera was and everything. And she said, Nana, just try it. If it messes up, it just messes up. You just delete it. And and this is where I'm going now. Mind you, I'm still working my job and loving, loving what I do, because my first gift I realized was I love talking to people. I love being in service with people. May not have been awakened to all the gifts yet, or even awakened to understanding who my higher beingness was, that what the purpose of my higher beingness was, to have this, to take on this physical form, but definitely to know that your skills and your gifts and your talents that you use in everyday life, once you have an awakening moment to your higher being, you can they become a part of you, and you get to sit down with them and say, okay, why are you here? I've been doing this, but why are you here? What's my purpose for it? Where else is it going to go? That's why I started this talk show. It's because sometimes it's not even about having an awakening moment. It's just having a moment where you want to find out who you are, with the skills and the talents that are best suited for you, not best suited for someone else. Because, like Olivia said at the beginning of this talk show, it's the people that you work for know that you're a gift, and they can use you to make them money, or to make them great. But what about you? What are your gifts? What are your talents? How do you bring them to the the purposes for you living your best and glorious and highest and greatest life?
Exactly.
Can you give us some conclusions?
My conclusion would be this. If you don't have people that you can trust around you, you need to find people that resonate with your soul, that when you're around them, you can be your absolute authentic self. Because those are the people that are going to, iron sharpens iron, but they're going to love you through it. They're going to see you, challenge you, push you, and be there for you all in the same. Now, the people that you may be around that do not nurture that authentic part of you, they will criticize and they will belittle and they make you feel bad about yourself. That's how you know that, this is not your tribe. And sometimes the people that do that to us, we want them to love us and see us. So we try harder to please them. And what we do is empty ourselves out more and more and more. So be aware of how people make you feel when you're in your excitement. How you feel when you bring something. Do they, oh my God, even if they can't see it, but you excited and they excited for you, or oh, you're going to try another one of these things again. Notice that in your everyday, you ain't got to say nothing. Just notice. And that's a beginning of understanding who is truly there to see your authentic light shine bright, who is there to use something that you have, or who is there that just sometimes you the only thing they got to make them feel good, and so they holding on to you so tight, right? So just know where you are, start to be aware. And that's all I want you to do right now. You don't have to go no further than that. You ain't got to say, I'm leaving you alone. Just be aware. That's the first step. And once you become aware, awareness is the key, because yeah, you might still hang around these people, but now your soul is like, is disrupted now. And so that means you're not going to be there too long, because now your eyes are open. Your first eye is open to see, oh, this is what's really going on, because your body tells. So I want to leave y'all with that. And I want to leave y'all with the fact that anything that is in you that you have a desire to do can be done. I'm not saying it's always going to be easy. And sometimes you got to break down before you build up. But always, the build up is always better than the broke down. I am a witness. So I'm grateful for everyone who tuned in, and I'm thankful for you for seeing yourself in me and Sandra, because we're all reflections of each other.
Thank you so much for that. Please tell these glorious people where they can find you.
Y'all can find me at Professor underscore Sunflower on IG. If you own the YouTube streets, you can, we're Curiosity the Antidote with our underscore Curiosity Antidote on the YouTube streets. We talk a lot about federal government contracting, but we also talk about authentic living. So somehow I'm going to incorporate a really serious situation in with the artistic side of me. I don't know how it's going to get done, but it's going to get done because this is who I am. And so we're
Right.
going to see. Join me on the journey because y'all creative too.
Yes. And if you want to follow me on Soul Awakening with Sandra on Instagram and YouTube. And if you would like to catch up with some Soul Awakening with Sandra podcast, it's called Soul Conversations with Sandra. It's streaming on Spotify. Just look us up. Just look us up. And I have to thank my beautiful guest here because she helped me get this profile together, and it's a work in progress, and it's going to get better. Talk about collaborations and talk about finding sometimes payment is not about money. That's you have many different ways of receiving currency. I gift her meditations that work for her body, mind, and soul, and she gifts me some of her creative ability in the on YouTube and on Restream, and we work together. It's a higher, it's a higher alignment, and
Yes.
it works. So I want to thank you, beautiful, beautiful goddess. Thank you so much for taking out time to
Thank
be
you.
on Soul Talk with Sandee. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And it's my pleasure. You're my sister. And so, for those that I love, I'm here for. You've been here for me too. So I'm excited to do this.
All right. Thank you. I don't want to go, but we have to go. We
Yes.
have lives. Okay. Everybody have a good weekend. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, so